All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever seen one of those photos, the kind that just pops and wish you could take one just like it? Well, it all starts with one simple step, finally moving that dial off of auto mode. And that's exactly what this is all about, giving you the keys to unlock your camera's true creative power.
Does this feel familiar? You've got this great camera. Maybe you spent a good bit of money on it, but your photos just feel a little blah, a little flat. That's because when you're on auto, the camera's just playing it safe. It isn't trying to be an artist, it's just trying to get an okay, average picture. But we're not here for average, right?
So this is the real shift we're going to make today. We're moving from being a picture taker to becoming a photo creator. A picture taker just points and shoots, letting the camera's little computer brain make all the creative calls. But a photo creator, well, they make intentional choices about what's in focus, how motion looks. They bring a specific vision to life. Let's get you into that creator mindset.
To do that, we need a whole new way of thinking. So for a minute, just forget all the technical jargon, all the scary-sounding terms. I just want you to embrace this one powerful idea. From this moment on, you are painting with light. Seriously, that one idea is the key to everything.
So if you're a painter, what's your paint? It's light. Simple as that. Light is the absolute #1 ingredient for any photo. I don't care if you have a multi-thousand-dollar camera or just your phone. No light, no photo. It's the raw stuff we're going to learn how to shape.
Okay, so you've got your paint. What's your brush? It's your camera. Don't think of it as this intimidating piece of technology. From now on, it's your paintbrush. And all those buttons and dials, those are just your different brush strokes. We're about to figure out what they all do.
And of course, every painter needs a canvas. For us, that's the final photograph. It's where it all comes together. Your vision, the light, and the way you used your brush to create something. See the difference? You're not just documenting a scene anymore. You're creating one.
All right, mindset is locked in. Let's open up that toolkit. Tool number 1 is aperture. Its primary creative superpower is controlling what's in focus and what isn't. This is how you tell the viewer's eye exactly where to look.
So what on earth is an aperture? It sounds super complicated, but it's not. It's literally just a hole inside your lens that can open up wide or close down to a tiny pinprick. That's it. A bigger hole lets in more light, a smaller hole lets in less. Simple as that. And here is where the magic happens. A large aperture is what gives you that gorgeous, creamy, blurry background that makes your subject just leap off the screen. Now, here's the one kind of weird thing you just have to memorize. A big opening is actually a small f number, like f1.8. And a tiny little opening that keeps everything sharp, that's a big f number, like f16. A little backward, I know, but you'll get the hang of it fast.
The official term for this blurry background effect is depth of field. So a large aperture gives you a shallow depth of field, which is absolutely perfect for portraits. And a small aperture gives you a deep depth of field, which is what you want for those big sweeping landscapes where you want every mountain and tree to be tack sharp.
Okay, on to tool number 2. Let's talk about shutter speed. If aperture gives you control over focus, shutter speed gives you control over something totally different, time. This is how you decide to show movement in your photos, or how you decide to freeze it completely.
And just like with aperture, the basic concept is really simple. Shutter speed is just the length of time your camera's shutter stays open, letting light pour onto the sensor. It can be open for a tiny fraction of a second or for several whole seconds. Longer time, more light. Shorter time, less light. Make sense?
And this is where you get to be a true artist. Check this out. With a super fast shutter speed, you can freeze a waterfall in time, capturing every single droplet in midair. It's crisp, it's intense. But slow that shutter way, way down, and that same exact waterfall turns into this silky smooth, almost dreamlike ribbon of water. Same scene, 2 totally different feelings, and you are the one in control.
All right, let's grab our third and final key tool, ISO. Now this is your secret weapon. This is your superpower for when you're shooting in low light, like indoors or after the sun starts to set.
The absolute best way to understand ISO is to think of it like a volume knob, but for light. Now, it's really important to know that it doesn't magically create more light. Instead, it tells your camera sensor to become more sensitive, to basically amplify the light that's already there. You crank up the ISO, the image gets brighter.
But there's always a catch, isn't there? This superpower comes with a trade-off.
When you amplify that light, you also create something called digital noise, which basically looks like a grainy texture all over your photo. So at low ISO gives you a super clean, beautiful image. But a really, really high ISO can make your photo look pretty grainy, and you start to lose some of that nice, sharp detail.
And that brings us to a simple golden rule, especially when you're starting out. For the best possible image quality, always, always, always try to use the lowest ISO setting you can get away with. Start at 100 and only crank it up when you absolutely have to.
Okay, now for the grand finale. This is where it all clicks into place. These three things we've been talking about, aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, they don't work alone. They're like three legs of a stool, all working together in a constant balancing act known as the exposure triangle.
Think of it like a three-way scale. If you change one setting, you have to adjust one of the others to keep things balanced. For example, if you make your aperture smaller to get a whole landscape in focus, you've just made the hole smaller, right? So less light is coming in. To compensate and get a properly bright photo, you have to either leave the shutter open longer or you have to increase the ISO. It's a constant give and take.
And this right here, this is your new best friend. It's your cheat sheet. It lays it all out, nice and simple. You've got your tool, what it does creatively, and how it controls the light. Aperture is for focus, shutter speed is for motion, and ISO is for brightness. Once you get the hang of balancing these three, you have pretty much cracked the code of manual photography.
So, let's circle all the way back to where we started. By understanding these three simple tools, you have fundamentally changed your relationship with your camera. You're no longer just letting a computer make your creative decisions for you. You are in control. You are officially painting with light.
And that's really what this is all about. These aren't just boring technical settings. They are storytelling devices. A photo with a blurry background tells a completely different story than one where everything is sharp. Frozen motion feels totally different than blurred motion. So now, you have the toolkit. The only question left is, what story are you going to tell?